and welcome back to the podcast. Look at that. Look what I got from Taobao, the Chinese app Taobao. Araf Says Stuff podcast. My name in neon lights. Oh, I've made it. I wish. Right. So that was actually only a tenner. £10. It's quite big actually. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Araf Says Stuff podcast. It's massive. That's what she said. She's never said that. Right. So yeah, there you go. That was a tenner. Imagine what you could be buying for a tenner. That's a waste of money. Not like that. It's crack. You could be buying crack for a tenner. That's a waste of money. Well, I've never tried it, so I can't really comment on crack. No, don't get crack. That was a joke. Well, if you've never tried it, then you can't really knock it back. No, I'm joking. There's probably somebody watching this saying, oh, he's got a point, you know. If you haven't tried it, how can you judge? Don't try crack. And this video is not sponsored by crack either. So let's just put it there, right? So, what are we talking about today? What can we talk about? So, that's a cup of tea there. And not a very good one. So I wanted to talk about these headphones. Right, so I didn't really want to talk about these headphones, but I'll mention it. So I'm not wearing these headphones to be cool. Before you say anything, oh, he's wearing these headphones to be cool. Your mum was cool last night when she was sleeping next to his mate. No, you know, Riz, I've always wondered, why do people actually wear these headphones? Is it to look cool? It's not. There's actually a reasoning behind them. You can actually hear your voice and you can adjust it through the mic when you have a mic plugged in. You probably already knew that, but I didn't know that. So there you go. For the people that didn't know that, there's some education for you. I tell you, man, this podcast is about education. Education for the nation. I'm educating the nation. I'm not really sure what nation, because I'm in China. I live in England. Yeah, people follow me from all sorts, really, from everywhere, really. I think my next door neighbour follows me, so I better keep my noise down. So yeah, what are we talking about today? Well, we're gonna have a brief story of how I got here. So I think the video is going to be called "My China Journey Up to Date." Something along those lines, right? So basically, from when I came here to now, I know I've mentioned my journey before, to China on YouTube, but this is a brief one, and it's up to date as well. That was quite a few months back. A lot have changed since then. A lot of things have actually changed since then. So where to begin? So it all goes back to 2018 actually. When I first decided to come here, summer of 2018, I was at a dead-end job. My relationship went down the tubes. I was sliding down those tubes. So yeah, as some of you might know, relationships, when they break up, it's an absolute disaster. Especially if you're with them for a long time, you just hit rock bottom. You go towards the beer, maybe gambling, maybe crack was the thing to get over the relationships. But yeah, quite a hard time, especially at a dead-end job that I didn't really enjoy. It's not a dead-end job, it's just a job that I didn't really enjoy. I did enjoy it at the beginning, working for the bookies, but then when you started doing single manning, working on your own, there was no fun. You were working till 10 o'clock at night on your own, in a dangerous neighborhood, and I'm thinking, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for minimum wage or just over. So yeah, one day I got a call from my brother saying, I know about your situation, you're a bit down, your relationship, went down the pan, so to speak. So he said, why don't you come out here to China? I've been here for a few years. It's good, you'll enjoy it, you'll love it, there's a lot to do, money's good, a lot of opportunity here. So I thought, you only live once. I think we only live once. Who knows? That's a different discussion. No, so I thought, why not? I've got nothing to lose. I've just broke up from my relationship. I'm at a job that I don't really enjoy, especially in 2018 when I started doing single manning, working on your own on a night and in the morning. You usually get one person. This was at the bookies, by the way, at the bookies. One person during your lunch break sometimes, just to relieve you, not like that kind of relieving, just like to relieve you so you can go and get some lunch, then come back. But yeah, it wasn't, by 2018, it wasn't a good job to be at. I don't think it is now. I think everyone's just trying to shut the bookies now. So yeah, it's a dying trade at the moment, I think, dying trade. So yeah, I took the opportunity and I started getting all my paperwork together to come to China. So I wasn't excited. I won't say I was excited. I was just wary, do you know what I mean? I didn't know nothing about China. I think the only thing I knew about China was a very old documentary I watched when they were making the wheel. It was a very, very old documentary. So I just didn't know what to expect coming to China. I didn't even... I didn't know what languages. No, I knew what languages spoke. I spoke Chinese. Bloody hell, I shouldn't be here. I didn't know what languages spoke. But saying that, I didn't even know a word of Chinese back home in England. I mean, who does? Not many people actually do. It's not really a popular language back home. It's not like French and Spanish. So anyway, I started getting all my paperwork together. And while I was doing that, I was still working at the bookies. So I didn't really have time to learn the language or, you know, watch hours and hours of documentaries about China. I just thought I'll go there. It is what it is. I'm one of those, you know, I'll just get in there, see what happens, get out, in and out. That's what she said. That's why she's not here anymore. Anyway, so yeah, I started getting everything ready, all my paperwork. There was a lot of paperwork. I had to get a criminal record check, my degree notarized, and all that stuff, in just letters back and forward with the Chinese embassy down in London. So yeah, I had to get a lot of stuff sorted, ready to get to China. And that's when I got to China, when I got everything ready. It was actually the flight I got to China was actually my first ever flight for like 11 years. So the last flight was, 11 years before that. So, and I was flying on my own. So I was dreading it a little. I didn't really know what I was doing, because last time I went with people, when I went on holiday 11 years before that. So I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just kept messaging my brother, like, what do you do? What do you take? Do you go to security first? Obviously, there's signs everywhere in the airport's easy, but I just never flew a plane for 11 years. I don't think I ever flew on my own. I think that was the first time I flew on my own, actually. So that was very nerve-wracking, but exciting. Actually, flying on your own is quite exciting if you've never done it, because then it's just all new, isn't it? All new. So yeah, I think we went to, I went to France first. Yeah, we stopped off at France. I remember stopping off there, and all I did was kept asking questions. Where do I go? Where's this flight? Where's this? Because I just didn't know what I was doing. Oh no, I swear to God, I've never met so many rude people in one place. I'm not saying anything bad about France. I love France. I've been there before on school trips and college trips. But honestly, at the airport, they were so rude. They just did not want to help me. I kept asking them, and they were just doing this. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Who does? This is customer service. But anyway, yeah, they were very rude. I was very surprised. But anyway, I found where I had to find at the end. I kept taking pictures of the right terminals, sending them back and forth to my brother. I know you probably listen to this saying, "Oh, well, it's easy flying." I've never flown on my own. You know, it was very alien to me. You know, it was very different than getting the bus. Getting a plane is a little different than getting a bus. So yeah, but anyway, I managed to get on the right flight, thank God. And then I got the long flight to China. It's very, very long. I think it's about 12, 13 hours from France. It might have been longer. Pardon me. What's in the tea? Exactly, Irish tea is what I'm talking about. So yeah, we go. I kept saying we. Who's we? I was on my own. Me and my imaginary friend got on the plane. And yeah, the long flight to Shanghai. I just took some books in. Who am I kidding? I don't read. I took some porn mags and stuff. I didn't really. I just took some like stuff to like keep me entertained on the way to China because I knew it was a long flight. That's something that I didn't know because I asked my brother before I hopped on the flight. So anyway, I was about to like land. I was going to say land in China, and I had to sign all these cards saying what city I'm going to, why I'm there. It was all in Chinese, so I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, as soon as we landed, we could go on the internet. So again, I was sending screenshots back and forward to my brother, asking him like what to do and stuff. Managed to get. Well, yeah, that went down the wrong hole. That's what she said. Again, she's never said that. So yeah, so landed there. Managed to land there happily. Everything was safe. Everything was all right. Filled in all the cards that I needed to fill. Then my brother met me at the airport. That's where my brother met me, Shanghai airport. Very exciting stuff. I was in a different country, got there on my own. I was all excited, living the dream. First thing we done was get a subway. I know. First thing you get when you get to China is get a subway. A bit ironic when you're in Asia, you should be getting, you know, all the other delicacies. But yeah, Subway was there. So the first meal I had in China was actually a Subway. It's a little different from the Subway back home, actually. Not a lot different. But some things do change, like the sauces. Some of the sauces are different. Some of the meats are different. It's interesting. I prefer the Subway back home, just what I'm used to. Stuck in my old ways. But the Subway here is not too bad, not too bad. They don't differ that much. Subway, do you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, we had a Subway. Then we got picked up by one of the guys from the school I was going to, like a driver. I don't think he was a driver. I think he was a teacher, but he was a designated driver. That the absolute maniac. Not a word of English, but he was driving like an absolute maniac. I think he died 3 times getting nearly died 3 times getting to my brother's. But enough said about that. It was a scary journey. A lot of people drive absolutely crazy here. Like you'll see when you get here, if you ever come here, just don't drive here. Don't drive. It's scary enough driving an e-bike. Never mind a car. I couldn't drive a car here. Bloody yeah, different experience that. So anyway, I get to my brother's. Spend the first night there, started, you know, getting familiar with the city the next year, seeing what's around, looking at all the food. My brother and his girlfriend were actually, I think they were at work the next day, I think, if I can remember correctly. This was about 3 years, 3 years back now. So I had the keys for the house and I just went on a wander on my own, up and down the shopping malls, looking at the restaurants. It was very exciting, you know, like, not being able to read the language, but just going in and just buying random stuff that you didn't know what it was. It can be scary, but I thought it was very exciting. You just didn't know what was going on. I love it when you don't have a clue. I think that's one of the reasons I hardly done any research when I came here. I just wanted to be surprised about everything. Do you know what I mean? Everything just hitting me at once. So yeah. I came here and I didn't have a clue what to expect. So when I was going getting food, I was going, whoa, what is that? Whoa, what is that? Did I sell that here? Whoa. I was just absolutely gobsmacked. But it was a great surprise. Not like bad surprises, good surprises. You know, I just didn't know how cheap things were. Things were just so cheap. They still are now. Like you'd buy a full meal for under £1. With a drink some places, which is absolutely mental. Imagine buying a meal back home, a full meal with a drink for under £1. You'd eat out all the time. And that's a funny story here in China, right? So now, today I cooked, I don't know, meatballs, the lot salad, potatoes, everything. A takeaway in China, it's much cheaper than back home. Sorry, what am I talking about? Well, obviously it is. It's cheaper than back home. the point I was trying to make is a takeaway here is much cheaper than cooking. Actually, you can cook cheaper, but for a foreigner here, usually cooking in our foreign ways, like the stuff we make back home, cook back home, it's actually cheaper getting a takeaway. I could get a takeaway now, I don't know, for like maybe let's say £1.50, including delivery with a drink. I could make a meal for about a fiver. Depends on what you make, depending what you're making, obviously. If I'm making lobster, it's probably about 20 quid. But I'm not going to be making lobster. Well, I don't know. I might make lobster. I like lobster. But so takeaways here generally are much cheaper than cooking here. So you can get a takeaway every day, morning, lunch, and dinner for under a tenner altogether, and it will be much cheaper than cooking. But not many people do that here because obviously takeaways are unhealthy. You want to cook, more healthier. You don't have to use a lot of oil. There's a lot of meals here are very oily. Not all of them, but when you get in a takeaway, a lot tend to be quite oily, depending on what you're getting. But the majority are. So I try and cook here, even though I know cooking is expensive here. I still try to cook here and there. I still try to cook. I try to do the right thing. I say I'm healthy. I eat a pizza nearly every day, so I'm not that healthy. I'm just maybe for lunch I'd have a ham sandwich instead of getting a beef curry. That's my healthy here. So, but what was I going to say? But yeah, my first day at school here was very mad. I remember the first day training was so we had to sit on a computer that wasn't even on actually, which had to sit there for hours while a Chinese teacher came, took us to a classroom, explained a few things here and there. Then they put a DVD in. I thought the DVD was going to be like I don't know, the history of the school or something like that. It was a training center, by the way. So I don't know if you know what a training center is. It's just something you do after public school. So training centers are usually open on a Monday to Friday, usually anytime between a Monday and a Friday after public school. So maybe like 4 o'clock onwards, kids will come. And on the weekend, when kids are not in public school, they will be in a training center, if you know what I mean. So basically, whenever a kid is not at a public school, that's when the training center is open for the kids, basically. But we usually go in there a little earlier, just to like prepare for the lesson. So my working week was Wednesday to Sunday from 2 o'clock till 8:30, Wednesday to Friday. And on Saturday and Sunday, when kids are completely off public school, they would come to our school from about 8:30 in the morning till about 5. So not all day, obviously different classes. So a kid will come just to one class, then go home. Then another group of kids will come to a different class, then go home. But that's like like the open hours. So Saturday and Sunday were about 8:30 to 5, and during the week from about 2 o'clock till about 8:30. So, but obviously the kids during the week will come about 4 o'clock because they're at public school till about 3:30 or something like that. And we'd go in at 2 o'clock to prepare the work, ready for the class. So yeah, the first day there, the training was obviously a few meetings here and there. Then that DVD I was talking about, they put in the DVD. I thought they were going to talk about like the history of the school and stuff. It was like, was it School of Rock? No, it wasn't School of Rock. It was something like that. Maybe you'll know. I'm not really good with films. It was, the Chandler guy from Friends. He was in it, and he was trying to teach a very disruptive. I can't even see the word. I'm a teacher. Disruptive class. So a very naughty class, right? He was trying to make them behave. They were all very naughty and stuff like that. You'll probably know the film's name, but it had Chandler from Friends. He was the main character in it. It was a very, very crap film. One of the worst films I've ever seen. Never took any notice of like watching it. But anyway, yeah, a training center basically is you need to learn while you're working, kind of thing. Somebody could stand there all day telling you what to do, telling you how things are. You're not going to take any notice. You just have to go to the classroom and just learn on the job. Obviously, it's good to learn like bits and bobs here and there, you know, the rules maybe, stuff like that. 2 seconds, my mouth's getting dry. Oh, I was gasping there. I was gasping for a good cuppa. Irish cuppa. That's vodka, that. I wish. Petrol. I'm just miserable. I'll tell you why I'm miserable soon. Well, not miserable, that's very exaggerated. Well, we're all bloody miserable. The world's bloody in lockdown. We all miserable. I am miserable, kind of. Yeah, like I was saying, it's one of those jobs working here as a training school teacher in China. You have to work on the job kind of thing to learn the job. If you sat in a classroom just learning it, somebody basically telling you what to do, you're not going to learn anything. You have to go in the classroom, and that's the best way to learn if you're working in China. But I think that's just common sense, isn't it? But anyway, so yeah, obviously I was here doing the training center work for since summer of 2018 till end of 2019. That's when I was here. It was a great time. Done a lot of things I would never do at home. Seen a lot of things. Great. I had a great time. The reason why I went home when did I go home? I think it was November. Is it November or no? You know what it is? I think it was January 2020 I went home. Yeah, January 2020. That's when I went home. And the reason I went home is because COVID hit. That's the first time COVID hit. And COVID hit when I was here in China. Imagine. It obviously started here. And I was here amongst it all, so mental. So I remember I was at work one day and we heard rumours schools were shutting down. There was a kind of cold coming, but nobody knew because obviously COVID was new. We didn't know what COVID was. COVID wasn't even a word then. Well, obviously it was a word long ago, but you know what I mean? Like, with the people that don't know stuff like that, COVID was a new word to us. It was certainly a new word to me. But people didn't actually know what was going on. They just knew schools were shutting down there, left, right, centre. And they were saying that maybe our school will shut down one day soon. And maybe the school will be shut down for a few weeks. But nobody was certain. Nobody knew what was going on. It was quite scary, really. We didn't know what was coming. Was it like a plague? Like trench foot? Well, not trench foot. You just didn't know I didn't know what was coming. It was always second guessing. Me ex might have been coming. She's a scary character. No, I shouldn't really say that. Really, she was lovely. I beg to differ. Right, different story. Let's focus on what I'm trying to say. I'm the one that needs to focus, nobody else. So yeah, we didn't know what was coming. So we basically had a meeting. The foreign teachers had a meeting. We went to my brother's house and we had a meeting after a while. We basically went there. I think it was 5 of us. 5 or 6, something like that. I think 5. So when then we were saying, we know the school is going to be shut down for a few weeks because something's coming. No one knew what it was. Just a bad cold, I think the rumour was. And but we were a bit sceptical as in like how long the school was going to close for, because it just sounded like the school was going to be closed for more than 2 weeks and we were going to be on a mini lockdown kind of thing. So we were a bit worried about that. Obviously we're here without our family, our friends. We had a little group of us, but you know, it's just not the same as being back home, is it? So we had to make a decision there and then. We got a piece of paper out each and we had to write, go home or stay. And basically, whatever the majority vote was, we'd choose. Obviously, whoever said stayed, they could still stay, but the majority would obviously go. That would be the main plan. So I would go back home. I missed home. I haven't been home for a very long time. So I thought, I'll just write go home. An excuse to go home. Is that just an excuse to go home? Actually, I lie. Not long before that, we did go home. Went home for Christmas, actually, yeah. The first time I went back home since being in China was Christmas 2019. So I came here summer of 2018. I went home Christmas of 2019 for 2 weeks, came back, then COVID hit. Then a few weeks after that, went home again. Right. Anyway, I still missed home. I still wanted to go home. So I writ go home. We all writ go home apart from one person. He wrote to stay. So when we wrote to go or stay, the decision had to be made there and then. So basically, we needed to go that night. We needed to get out because we didn't know what was coming and we didn't know when it was coming. It could happen any second. Everything's locked down. We could be locked down here for a year. We just didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. They said 2 weeks, but like I said, we were very skeptical. So I had to rush home to my house, got a taxi, started packing everything. I forgot everything in the fridge. And I didn't come back for another year. So you can imagine. Anyway, I had eggs, potatoes. I don't know why I had potatoes in the fridge. Don't ask. Living on my own for the first time and all that. I used to live with, with my ex. But anyway, I had eggs, meat. Oh, meat. I had meat in the fridge. So I got everything ready. It took me about, I'd say an hour. I had a shower and stuff. Put everything in a bag. Got a taxi to my brother's, not knowing when I'm going to come back to my home in China. Got to my brother's. We all ordered a taxi. We ordered one taxi to Shanghai airport. All got on it. Headed straight to Shanghai, and just got on the plane. We stopped off at Dubai actually for a couple of days. We had to stop in Dubai anyway, but we thought we'd stay there a couple of days, take advantage of the situation and all that. You only live once. So we stopped off at Dubai. A very nice country, very beautiful, very rich, very, very rich. I couldn't live there. Bloody hell. I couldn't live here? Nah, I could live here. It's cheap in China. But Dubai was very, very expensive. So spent a few days in Dubai, living it up. And a couple of days after that, we went back to England. The lad that stayed here, that said, I'm not going home, eventually changed his mind. I think it was the next day. Don't quote me on it. Not that you would know. One of you might know. But he decided to go back home as well. I think it was a couple of days after that or something. Then he went home as well, back to England. We were all from England, all the foreigners from that school. We went home. Everything was all right back home in England. It wasn't so bad. We just kept watching the news every day, not knowing what's going on. And a couple of weeks after that, not long after that, obviously everything shut down. We had a lockdown in England, didn't we? And that lasted till, bloody hell, it's still locked down now, isn't it? It's still locked down now? No, it's back to normal in England now, I know that. But it wasn't locked down for a long time. So China closed its borders for a long time as well. Obviously, every country did. But China's borders are still closed to this date. What date is it now? So now is... I don't even know what year is. Bloody hell. What's in this drink? Diarrhea? So now it's 2022. March 2022. So now I am in March 2022. And the borders are still closed for tourists here in China. Mental. Hopefully not for long. That's why I haven't been back home. I came back here after... So basically I was in England for a long time, obviously with the lockdown and stuff. Just waiting for the Chinese to open its borders to come back. China didn't open its borders until October of 2020. So I came back on January 2020, and China didn't open its borders till October 2020. And obviously, I just said that borders are still closed for tourists, which they are, but they opened literally for a couple of weeks in on October 2020 just for working visas, but we had to do so much paperwork to come out here. PU letters, sort our visas out, back and forth from London, just to get these paperworks together to get back to China. We were obviously desperate to come back to China. Well, we have our homes here, our work, our job was here. We were jobless back home. Well, I had a job at my friend's place, but the rest didn't. So yeah, when the borders opened for a couple of weeks in October, we had to be on the ball. Fair play to my brother and his fiance. They did all the paperwork and everything. So yeah, we had to get all the paperwork done on time. If we were a day late, we won't be here right now, because when we hopped on the flight from England to China, right? The day we got to China, literally the day we got here, right? The next day, the borders closed. The next day, and they're still closed to this date. So yeah, they opened for literally a couple of weeks. It might have been a trial. Looking back at it now, it was possibly a trial. Could they do it? Could they not do it? Obviously, mustn't have worked very well, because after 2 weeks they closed again. But it's still closed for tourists. No matter, it never opened for tourists then. It just opened for working visas for a couple of weeks. I think if you're very lucky, you could still come back now, but it's just very difficult. It's very, very difficult. In those 2 weeks on October, it was a little easier. You had to get a certain letter to come back, but now it's very, very difficult to come back, even with the PU letter and everything like that. But anyway, we got on the flight, got here, and what a crazy experience coming here to quarantine. We didn't know what to expect. We heard rumors of what it could be like, how harsh the conditions were, staying like the food situation, like you were locked in a room, you couldn't even go out for a walk anywhere. It was serious stuff, but we had to come back. We lived there. What else are we going to do? So yeah, we got to China. Everyone had these jumpsuits on. It was very scary. It was very surreal. I've got a picture somewhere. It might be on Instagram. I'm not really sure. Of me just doing this and just everyone behind me in jumpsuits. Very scary situation. It was very cool though, because everybody knew what they were doing. It was all clockwork. It was, it just ticked perfectly. Everyone done a great job. I have to admit, like, the service was absolutely great. Everyone did a great job. People that took the COVID tests, people that took us to the hotel. It was all done so smoothly. So props to them. Props to all the workers that made that happen. So yeah, we got to the hotel, and oh bloody hell. The hotel room was all right. I mean, it was just a hotel room. It was like an average hotel room. Not so clever. But yeah, we were locked in that one little room. It was quite small. One little room for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We couldn't even open the door and leave. That's how strict it was. We couldn't even open the door. So very, very strict, as you can imagine. So yeah, they'd give us 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner. I was on TikTok then, just to kill time. And I was looking at other people's quarantine videos, and they were ordering pizzas, burgers, the lot, whatever they want. We couldn't order. We couldn't order anything from the outside world. We could just get what we were given in the hotel room. And the food was absolutely shocking. The food was bloody absolutely horrendous. And I'm not just saying that because like it's Chinese food or anything. It was just bad food, bad quality food. I was showing my Chinese friends here in China and my co-T teachers, my co-T Chinese teachers here in China, showing them the food, and they were saying the food looks really bad, really low quality. So they were giving us basically the bog standard. But I was talking to other people that quarantined other places. They said the food was quality and they were ordering stuff from takeaway shops. I think we were just very unlucky, very, very unlucky people. So yeah, the breakfast wasn't so clever. Lunch was horrendous. So was dinner. But the best thing that I had there was a boiled egg during breakfast, and would only get a boiled egg every few days. So you'd obviously get a breakfast every day, but the boiled egg was every few days. So I'd always look forward to the boiled egg. And we had this greasy bread. It's like a Chinese delicacy. It's long, greasy bread. Would get that every few days, and I'd very much look forward to that. And when they came together, when breakfast was the boiled egg with the greasy bread, oh hallelujah! I was doing backflips, back cartwheels. Oh, it was the best day of my life. So yeah, absolutely loved it when I got the boiled egg with the greasy bread. But usually it was just random soups and stuff, fishy soup or this or that. Lunch was absolutely horrendous. I don't even know what I was eating half the time. It just didn't taste nice. Didn't look nice. Didn't taste nice. Like I said, I was showing my Chinese friends the food, and they were saying it looks absolutely horrendous. They wouldn't eat it. I love Chinese food. I love food here in China. I order every day, takeaways nearly every day. But yeah, the quarantine food that we had was it wasn't very clever. Like, so I basically the best thing about it is, in China, is with every meal you get white rice. So I always ate the white rice during quarantine, during lunch, and I had the white rice during dinner. And like I said, breakfast, usually I'd have the boiled egg or the greasy bread whenever they came. Sounds like bloody prison. It bloody was prison. Prison was better. I've never been to prison. I've never been to prison. I'm saying prison's better. I've never been. Well, that's a different story. I got locked up abroad when I was young and foolish. I went on a lad's holiday and I got banged up abroad, locked up abroad in Gibraltar. But that's a long story. I was 17 at the time. That's a very long story. I'll tell it another day if you want to know it. But yeah, that's a story for another day. It's a long story. So yeah, the food was horrendous. I was making TikTok videos at the time a lot. That's when I started getting a few followers on TikTok. Not that I'm bothered about TikTok followers or whatever. I just do it for fun. But yeah, that's when many people started following me anyway on TikTok. Obviously interested in what meal I'd get the next day, because I was trying to document every meal I had. At one point, I just didn't document the meals because I was just so sick of looking at them. I didn't even have the strength to bloody take a video, never mind look at the meal. So I just gave up at one point. I made a few videos. People enjoyed them. They enjoyed my misery. Usually we enjoy other people's misery. Usually, especially when when you go out and somebody falls over. Everyone loves that, laughing at other people fall. I don't. I'm a decent person. I'm a good person of the community. I'm a good person of the community. I pick them up. Rob the wallet. But I pick them up. No, I don't really rob wallets. Well, it depends who it is, isn't it? Depends whose wallet it is. Joke. So yeah, when we came out, I remember when we left quarantine that morning, obviously we were there for 2 weeks. It was like leaving prison again. I need to stop saying again. I've never been to prison, apart from getting locked up abroad. But that wasn't like prison. I just got locked up, for a little amount of time. I'm digging myself a hole here. Right. Anywho. So when I left quarantine, it just felt like the best day of my life. We were all thinking about food, what to get, what food could we get. We knew there was a Burger King opening. We never had a Burger King in our city where we work now, but a Burger King opened, I think, like a few weeks before that or something. We heard rumours. I know rumours of Burger King's open. Big rumours. They've got burgers. So yeah, we just all went there, and I've still got a picture on my Instagram of all of us eating our first meal after quarantine. And what a picture! You should see our smiles, like Cheshire cats. Great photo to keep and show the grandkids for certain. But if you want to have a look at it, give me a follow on Instagram, Araf's Adventures. I'm always on a bloody adventure. So yeah, we went back to work at the same job in a training center. We got the warmest welcome from the Chinese staff. The warmest welcome. They had a big hall. I made a video about this as well. They made a big hall with projectors, people holding flowers either side, party crackers, champagne. It was very emotional. I was nearly crying, like, to be fair. I was very, very emotional. I think we were all nearly crying. So emotional. It was surreal how special we felt. We had, like, the kids making videos, like every class had a video. Like, obviously my classes, they recorded them saying, like, welcome back, Araf. They were on the projector on the big screen. Pardon me. There's definitely a heroine in here, like. What is in that? It's not tea, that's why. Right. So yeah, it was very, very emotional, but that's when we knew we made the right decision because of that warm welcome. It was such a nice welcome. We thought, we definitely did the right thing here. We were just so humbled, like, we just felt we were loved. We were very loved. And to this day, I'd never regret coming here, even going through quarantine, because of that welcome we got. So yeah, we went straight back to work, doing our thing, like nothing's changed. Like nothing's changed. When England was on lockdown, here wasn't on lockdown. Everything was opened up. It was like nothing has happened, okay? So, but the thing is, so we worked there for about a year, until November gone. November, which was, about a year. We came in October. We started work in November. And then November gone, so November 2021, we had to leave. We all had to leave our jobs. That was a new government rule where training centres couldn't advertise English and foreigners couldn't work in training centres. I don't know, mad new policy, but apparently it was in the works for the last 10 years or something. They just finally did it. So in a training centre, you'll probably never see a foreign teacher, not in the near future anyway. There probably are some training centres that's got foreign teachers, but it's very difficult. So you can't advertise English. Just nearly all of them can't have foreign teachers. So they had to let us go. So we had no choice but to let us go, unfortunately. So we came back here, and after a year, we couldn't even work in our school. So that's when we thought, bloody hell, did we make the right decision coming back? But we obviously did. That welcome they really wanted us back. We wanted to be there. It's not their fault, just a policy. A policy is a policy. What are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? Just one of those things is just life, isn't it? You can't whinge, you just have to get on with it. But so we were all planning to come back home to England. England was still in lockdown in November, wasn't it? Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm sure it was, maybe not lockdown, but I'm sure it was hard to get a job. It might still be hard to get a job now in England. I don't know. But anyway, I know that England started to go back to normal beginning of this year, I believe, But we had to leave in November anyway, so we didn't know what jobs to get, we didn't know how bad the lockdown situation was back home. So we're all just like, bloody hell, man, things were normal here, and now we have to leave our jobs, bloody hell, what's going on? So we started looking for jobs here. We thought, we started looking for jobs. We might as well try before we go home, But obviously the policy says to not get a job in a training centre. So we had to look for other kind of jobs like kindergarten jobs and primary school jobs. So they were all right. A foreigner can still work in those schools. For now. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. So, we went to a job interview in a different city. You see, we don't actually work in the city we're at. We actually had to go further afield to a totally different city to get a job. It's not that far. It's only about, 25 minutes in a car. But it's a different city. And we got the job. We all got the job. I'm currently a primary school teacher. I love my job. Great job. So with that said, everything happens for a reason. Obviously, I was happy at the training centre, but I'm more happy now at this primary school. Absolutely love it. The working hours, they're quite hard. I'm up Monday to Friday at 6 a.m, finish at about 5 o'clock. So it's quite intense. I mean, that's a normal job, I guess, back home. But it's just, you're teaching all the time. So it can be, you're talking a lot. I'm losing my voice a lot. while I'm working. But it's a good job. It's a really good job. Really good job. If you come to China and you can be a primary school teacher, do it. Great job. Money's good as well. You get more money than a primary school teacher back home. Most primary school jobs here anyway. Some you probably get less, I don't know. But yeah, it's a really good job, really good job. It feels like more of a stable job, you know, a training center. It was always like, they could let you go at any time, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they could let you go here. But, you know, it just feels more stable here. It's like it wasn't just a small school. This is a big facility, you know, hundreds of classrooms. And not just that, in September of 2022, we're actually moving to a different facility. And there's going to be a horse riding center there, a swimming pool, mental. And they're going to have a river, pardon me, they're going to have a river in between the two schools, the school I'm in now, which is going to turn into a kindergarten, and the primary school I'm going to go in September, if I'm still here. And they're going to have, I think they were saying like boat races, like Cambridge and Oxbridge. Oxbridge. Well, who's Oxbridge? Was that a wash? Oxford. And they're going to have a horse riding centre, ski slopes. They showed us the pictures of the plans, and bloody hell. Looking forward to that if I'm still here. Obviously, my contract ends till August. That's when the end of year, you know, once the students, finish for the year. So, and obviously, September's a new semester. So, it depends if I sign a new semester. I'll see how I feel. So far, so good. But you just don't know what's around the corner, you know. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, mate. I don't know what I'm having for tea. I actually don't know what I'm having for tea. That's the worrying part. I could starve. Or I could just get a £1.50 takeaway. There's always that. But the funny thing is, I'm saying everything's good now, which it is good. But we're actually shut down right now. I know, we're actually shut down. Mental. We've been shut down for a month because of COVID. So COVID hit our cities, like the city I'm in now. No, not necessarily the city I'm in now, but like the cities around it. COVID hit. So a lot of the schools had to shut down. So actually, currently, I'm doing online teaching. So I'm working from home. But there's rumours the school will be open next week, but you just don't know. There's rumours about everything here. I'll not believe it till I see it. But yeah, working from home is great. You know, waking up, having a coffee, all warm. You know, you're in your house. You don't have to leave and working online. I love it. It can be closed for as long as I like. You know, I'd love it to be closed for another month. It's all good. It's good to me anyway. Good for me. But yeah, online teaching's great. I love it. But yeah, I think we're back next week. But the problem is with going back next week, if it is open, it's very complex because I'm in a different city now. The city I'm in is classed as safe. The city my primary school is in, is not classed as safe. So if we go there next Monday, we can't come back, which means we'll be living at the school. So I'll be living with just a bunch of, I don't know, random teachers for probably a month or something until the situation and that school, like that city, gets better. So yeah, bloody hell. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to be my own. But what are you going to do if I don't go and live there? I can't get paid. But yeah, I don't know until it actually happens. This is all talk at the moment. So yeah, but if the school is open this Monday, I think we'll have to stay there because that city is not the safest city. It's safe enough to open the school, but not safe enough to come in, go out of the city for other cities. Obviously, the city I'm in now is safe, the one I live at. So they don't want people coming from the other city that I work at in and out. So they'll shut the borders. You can leave, you just can't come back. So yeah, this is my current situation. I'm currently working online at the moment, and I've been doing online for about a month now. And I bloody love it because I'm working from home. We did get a deduction from the school. It wasn't a big deduction. I think it was 20% deduction. So we're getting paid 80% at the moment, which is still all right. I prefer that than going into school. It It's absolute pain waking up at 6 in the morning. The reason I wake up at 6 in the morning is because obviously we have to travel. But now we don't have to travel. I can stay in bed an extra hour and a half. So it's absolutely great. But yeah, this is my current situation. I'm working online from home here in China as a primary school teacher. I could be going back to work next week, next Monday. But who knows? And if I do go back next Monday, I have to live at the school for how long? Again, who knows? That's life in this current world. That's life in 2022. That's life in 2020, 21, 22. We live in a crazy world now. Anything can happen. I could cook after this. That could happen. That would be crazy. I've actually cooked for once. I do cook. It's just not very good. God loves a try. I do cook. So yeah, every few months I'll try and do like an update where I am in China for the people that are interested. You might not be interested. If you're not interested, mate, go and do something better then. But yeah, I'll try and keep it as interesting as I can. Just telling you what I've been doing, what I've been up to. I'll still obviously make other videos in between, just shopping in China, showing you shopping malls, food here, food reviews and stuff. Mix it up a little. I'm doing these podcasts in between. So yeah, give a like on the video on your way out if you don't mind. It'll just show that you enjoy the video. You know, if nobody likes it, I'll probably stop making them. Nobody likes my videos. But yeah, that'll be appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I've been rambling on. But yeah, that's the story so far from when I came to now. Very brief, but that's the story. And I'll keep updating you every few months on what's going on. Hopefully the next podcast will be soon as well. Maybe not about China, maybe just about something random. Just talking about anything. We'll talk about anything. Maybe my stories about Libya. Oh, you know, I lived in Libya for 13 years, if you didn't know. Some stories there. I might even tell you the story about when I got locked up abroad. Ooh, that's a story. That's a good one. That's a good story. So, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And don't let anything bring you down. It's so easy to be brought down now in this current world we live in. Man, this crazy world we live in. But just keep optimistic and one step forward at a time. So yeah, signing out here from Araf Says Stuff podcast. I knew what it said. Araf Says Stuff podcast. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. I'll see you later.